What's up? It's Jesse, and today we are making poor man's burnt ends. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's do it. All right, so first things first, let's go ahead and get our Kamado Joe Kettle Joe started. I like to use these, which are wood fire or naked flame fire starters. They're amazing. They're all natural. They don't have any added chemicals, so you're not getting any of that in your food. I like to place them, 3 of them in here. Go ahead and place them all around there, and then we're just going to light them up with our torch. Once we get them lit, we're going to let that thing sit for about 10-15 minutes till all of our coals are looking good. Then we're going to close it, and we're going to let it get up to 10. All right, so today we are making poor man's burnt ends on the Kamado Joe Kettle Joe. Now, poor man's burnt ends are made out of chuck roast. I don't necessarily believe that chuck roast is a poor man's piece of meat, because it's usually more expensive even than brisket. But it's great because they sell it, it's smaller than a brisket, so you're not going to be forking out as much money as you would for a brisket, and it's really, really good. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and prepare this much like we would a brisket. We're going to smoke it for a couple hours until it hits about 190, 195, and then we're going to go ahead, we're going to cube it up, and then we're going to make burnt ends, and we'll show you how to do that in a minute. So I always make sure that I hit my meat with a binder. I'm gonna hit this one with mustard. You can use mayo, you can use Worcestershire sauce, you can use olive oil, you can use hot sauce. You could really use whatever you want, just something on there that's gonna help stick, the rubs stick to the meat. And if you're worried about tasting it, trust me, you won't taste it. You never have a taste of mustard in your meat when you're done. And this looks like a really great chuck roast. It's a nice size. It's got a lot of good marbling in it, so I'm excited to see how this thing turns out. I'm gonna hit it first with the real smoke L beef rub. This stuff is super good. It's got a lot of salt and pepper in there, and it just makes for a really great bark on beef for sure. I even like to use it on chicken. Then I'm gonna follow it up with a little bit of smoked mafia from my friends over at Rub Love Seasoning. It's a great seasoning that really gives your meat just an excellent flavor and some great color too. So this is the smoked mafia that I'm going to be hitting with it second. Don't be afraid to go liberal with your rub, because it's going to help you get a lot of good flavor, a lot of good bark, and it's really going to make your meat rise to that next level. What I think some guys tend to think is that you're going to over season this, but this is a 4 pound chuck roast. You're not going to over season this piece of meat. If you do, I'd be shocked. So once you got this all rubbed down, all sides coated, make sure it's nice and covered. You're gonna let this thing sit for just a couple of minutes, let that rub sweat out, and then it's gonna be ready to go ahead and get on the grill and smoke. All right, so once your coals are lit, you're ready to go ahead and let this thing come up to 10. So we're gonna be using the slow roller system from Kamado Joe today on our Kettle Joe. What I love about that is it's a unique design that go ahead and helps you get that smoke right up and around your food. So I'm gonna throw that on. Got the slow roller on. Once you get the slow roller on the grill, you can go ahead and add your grates. Sorry. A specific way. There we go. Throw your grates on. After you get your grates mounted on here, you're going to shut your lid. You're going to let this thing come up to your desired temp. And you're ready to get your food on. So I want to talk quickly about smoke settings. Now on the Kamado Joe, Kettle Joe, like any Kamado cooker, you have 2 places that you have air to come in and to come out. On the bottom, you have your air inlet. On the top, you have your dampener. Now basically think of that like the gas in the brake. You're gonna open that up enough, which usually for me it's about 2 fingers, maybe 2.5 to get to 300 degrees. And you're gonna have that open about a quarter to a halfway open to go ahead and allow that smoke to escape, so you make sure you're maintaining temperature at 300 degrees. And that's where I set my settings. You might have to play with it a little bit to figure out how it works for you, but normally that's a good rule of thumb to go by when you're trying to get around 300 degrees on a cooker like this. All right, so we got the grill sitting right where we want it. It's time to get our meat on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a probe in this grill. I'm using my Meter Plus. I love this wireless thermometer. You don't have to mess with any wires. I'm just gonna put it in the meat until it's about in the center there. That way we know we're gonna get a good reading. And then I'm gonna put my meat on. There's a bunch of different wireless thermometers out there, or wired. You can go with whichever you like. I like using the meter. You set it right next to the grill, and it's gonna keep temp of both the ambient temperature and the meat temperature as you're cooking. It's really great. You don't have to have any guesswork in your cooking. So we're gonna let that thing cook for a couple hours. We'll see you in a little bit. All right, so our chuck roast is reading about 195 degrees. That means we're ready to cube it up and make these burnt ends. So when you get this chuck roast, after you get it to your desired temperature, which is gonna be around that 195, close to 200. You don't want to go to 200 or over, it's going to start falling apart. So once you get it at that temp, you're going to cube it up into 1-inch squares, throw it into a pan with some butter, barbecue sauce, a little bit of brown sugar, and let that do its magic back in the smoker. All right, so there we have it, the poor man's burnt ends done on the Kamado Joe, Kettle Joe. These things are amazing. I can't wait to try one. Oh, melt in your mouth, great barbecue flavor. Y'all gotta go make these right now.